BJP has struck a hat-trick in Haryana, and a day after the assembly election results were announced, leaders of the winning parties, in fact BJP in Haryana National Conference, Congress Alliance in Jammu and Kashmir were engaged in hectic political activity on Wednesday, and today is a new day. In Haryana, the party of course has struck a hat-trick, and now talks are underway to ensure that the new BJP cabinet has new faces. At least 7 ministers and the assembly speaker have lost elections, and a lot of new faces have won, which means the new cabinet will have fresh faces and also people from different castes and communities that have really voted for the BJP. Several BJP leaders, including incumbent Chief Minister Nayab Singh Saini, who is likely to retain the position, were in Delhi yesterday to meet the Prime Minister and other top leaders. The new government, what we understand, is expected to take charge after the 12th of October, once the Dussehra is over on Wednesday. The BJP in fact got a further boost in Haryana, with 3 independents also announcing their support to the party, effectively taking the BJP's tally to a very comfortable 51. And joining me now is Gurpreet, who has been reporting on the Haryana developments. Gurpreet, what I hear is intense lobbying has already begun for ministerial berths, which is something that is expected. Several legislators of the BJP are meeting senior leaders. They are already making a beeline to Delhi to meet the central leadership to ensure that they get something. But of course, this is not going to be an easy job, but of course the central leadership is expected to take a call. What are we hearing on the new cabinet?
Well, what we can understand and what we have learned from the top state BJP leaders, they are very clear. The party high command is going to take a final call. What we have seen, and from the results also, we have seen the former Home Minister Anil Viz was able to win the election. At the same time, Mahipal Danda, who is also one of the ministers in the previous Nayab Singh Saini's cabinet, he had won from Panipat, and at the same time Moolchand Sharma, that was also former minister, he was also able to win. These 3 people are going to be adjusted because these are the senior people which the party high command as well as the state leader, they feel they will be able to get portfolio. We have seen the central leadership had made a full political strategy this time, and all the leaders, whether it's the state leader or the central leader, they are already mulling on the various angles. The main challenge which we can assess at this point of time, that is very clear. They want to make a balance for the portfolio, so that the way they are able to make a history in Haryana politics, that should not be disrupted at any cost. So that is the challenge before the party high command, and the state leaders, they are still tight-lipped because they know the central leadership is going to take a final call, and that is one of the reasons why the state leaders are going to national capital to meet all the top leadership, so that they will be able to make their way in the Nayab Singh Saini's government, and they will be able to get this portfolio. So what we have learned within a few days, and within 2 days, there will be more clarity, and central leadership will talk to the state leadership to finalize each and everything. And as of now, what we can understand, yesterday we have seen the Chief Minister of Haryana, Nayab Singh Saini, he met all the top leaders. He has given his side of a list to the central leadership that these are the combinations which he wants that should be properly accommodated. So let's wait for some more time. There will be more clarity. We have seen the former Vidhan Sabha speaker from Panchkula, he has already been lost. So it seems there will be new cabinet under the chief ministership of Nayab Singh Saini.
Right.
Back to studio.
Gurpreet, at least 7 ministers have lost, and also the assembly speaker. So that is quite interesting. In fact, it really reminds me of the situation in Madhya Pradesh, where a lot of senior ministers lost elections, and even in Haryana, we have heard people like Ravinderjeet, talking about the influence that he has in southern part of Haryana. So which is why his supporters have been talking about him being the chief minister. But this time, the BJP has recorded an increase not just in seat share but also in vote share, with people from different parts of the state voting for the party. So what kind of claims, what are the people, what are the top leaders of the party saying when it comes to the ministerial berth? Is it going to be representative, or is it going to be exactly what the central leadership wants?
Well, what we have seen that the area which falls under NCR and specifically urban area, they are able to get a maximum vote share from the various cities, whether it's Gurugram, Panipat or maybe Sonipat. These areas, they are predominantly, they are able to get a maximum vote share. What we have learned from these areas, these people have been putting these words before the party high command. They are looking forward a topmost post after the chief minister. They are looking forward as a deputy chief minister, so that that area will be developed and that area should be get representation. At one point of time, we all know it was a stronghold of the Congress, and that is also a challenge for the BJP. They are trying to maintain that balance so that this area should be represented. And if we can talk about in nut and shell, as we have already known that most of the senior ministers, they were not able to make their way in this state politics, and now they have an open arena, they have a political arena where they can adjust the newcomers also, and some of the former ministers, whether it's the Mahipal Danda, the Moolchand Sharma or Anil Viz, the former home minister, they are going to be adjusted at a higher level. Now the question is, they also want to make a balance within the party so that there should not be any rebel within the party and there should not be any disagreement with the top leadership. That is the one of the reasons why they have been mulling over these points which has been given by the Chief Minister of Haryana, Nayab Singh Saini, to the central leadership to think about all these things. We have seen some of the women candidates. We have seen yesterday Switri Jindal, she has also given a support to the party also. That has also added one more number in the total mark which they had already got. Now they are also looking these aspects. They want to make a balance so that one women minister should be from there. We have seen the Shruti Chaudhary, the Kiran Chaudhary's daughter. She is also make a way. She has just come from the Congress to BJP and she was able to win the election. So all these mathematics, all these calculations are being taken care of the party high command, and it seems that is one of the reasons why it takes time. And what we have learned from the sources also within the state politics also, they say maybe on 12th or maybe after 12th they will decide to hold this swearing-in ceremony, so that by the time they will have much time to talk to each and every leadership here in the state unit also, in the central unit also, so that they will be able to come to the consensus how they are going to make a balanced portfolio under the chief ministership of Nayab Singh Saini. Back to studio.
Yeah, thank you, Gurpreet, for joining us with those details. Clearly, balance is the key word here. The BJP reviewing its caste, community and region calculations to ensure that the new cabinet that comes up in Haryana, where it has scored a hat-trick, a historic victory, is representative of all communities, people who have voted for the party in its record-breaking victory in Haryana. Moving on, in Srinagar, in J&K, a similar but slightly different situation is playing out, where the J&K has recorded a historic comeback. In fact, in Srinagar, top leaders of NC and Congress have already begun the spade work to form the first elected government in J&K in more than 6 years. Remember, it is the NC which has emerged as the predominant party in Kashmir with 42 seats. Congress has had a setback here as well. It has about 6 seats. This alliance now plans to announce the new chief minister in the next 2 days. But we know that we hear that it is going to be Omar Abdullah who is going to be leading. NC President Farooq Abdullah and Vice President Omar Abdullah have already been meeting the newly elected MLAs. In fact, Congress party leader, Congress party chief has said that we visited Dr. Abdullah and Omar Abdullah and congratulated them on the victory. An official discussion will take place after the meetings with legislative members and alliance partners. This is what Tariq Hamid Kharra has said. He's the chief of the Congress party in J&K. The NC will hold its first legislative party meeting today. It will also meet with its allies in the Congress party on Friday, which is tomorrow, and in this meeting a governance model is expected to be decided. Joining me now is a panel of experts. We have Sandeep Shastri, and we have Professor Sandeep Shastri, and we also have Amitabh Tiwari, political commentators, both of them. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining me on this show. To you, Professor Shastri, first, let's talk a little bit about J&K. It is not going to be easy for Omar Abdullah because his party's manifesto has a lot that will be a challenge for the centre to fulfill, but he has clearly said that he will be not in a conflict-ridden relationship with the centre, and he'll be doing the best for the people of J&K. What are the challenges that you see for the NC Congress government in J&K this time?
Thank you, Vasudha, for bringing me into the debate, and wonderful to be with Amitabh ji on this debate. You are fully right in saying that there is a very tightrope walk that Omar Abdullah will have to do. And we already have seen indications of this in the speeches that he has made till now, where he has said on NDTV when he came up for an interview there, he did say that I will keep Article 370 restoration on the side now and focus first on statehood. Now, that was one clear indication that he gave that what his focus would be. And he also said in that interview, which is important, that my focus would be ensuring that Jammu does not feel left out, Jammu is represented, and the aspirations of the people of Jammu are taken into account. This, I think, is very critical because you notice this divide between Kashmir and Jammu regions, and he has said he would try to take that, he would try and reduce that divide which seems to be there, and which is very visible in the election results. Thirdly, I think Omar Abdullah has said that he would like to have good equations with the central government and the Lieutenant Governor. And this is an important point because rather than going on the road of confrontation, he wants to go on the road of reconciliation. He wants to work with the center. And this, I think, would be a very, very positive mood again.
Right.
Fourth and last, I think Omar Abdullah's challenge would be how to meet the aspirations of these diverse sections which have voted the National Conference and the Congress to power. Now, there are multiple expectations. After 10 years, after 5 years, you have a government at the earlier state, now union territory level. And therefore, there would be tremendous expectations from Omar Abdullah and his government. How would he go about forming his government? Who would his ministers be? How much from the Congress? All these issues, I think, he will have to sort out. So as I said in the beginning, it's a very, very tightrope walk. Yes. But Omar Abdullah, being an experienced politician that he is, already having served as Chief Minister of the state, I am sure he is up to the challenge and willing to take it on given the mandate that he has received.
Right, Omar Abdullah striking a very cautious note there, like Professor Shastri is also saying. He said that the first business of the new cabinet will be to pass a resolution demanding a restoration of statehood for J&K, but clearly has also said that he will keep the conversation alive on Article 370, but he's not going to have a confrontation with the centre because he wants to focus on the interests of people of J&K. Amitabh Tiwari, let's talk about the other state that's making a lot of news. Tell us what is going to be challenging for the BJP, and I'm sure this is a challenge that the BJP loves, getting a very comfortable victory in a state, in a difficult election. It is in some ways a repeat of what we saw in Madhya Pradesh. How do you see 7 ministers losing elections, the speaker losing elections, but of course Nayab Singh Saini emerging there as the face of Haryana BJP? What is the next task that is cut out for the BJP in Haryana?
So I think essentially this is a historic mandate for the BJP, and the BJP will now have to balance many considerations. One of the key being regional considerations, because the BJP has not only done well in its strongholds, which is of GT Road belt and Ahirwal belt, but also has done fairly well in the Jat land. And then it has to accommodate the various caste and socio-economic class aspirations. So since it has got a good amount of support from its traditional vote bank, but also from non-traditional vote blocks like the Jats, it will have to also strike a balance between various caste groups. And I would say to its advantage, what has happened is that many of the sitting ministers have lost. So it gives it a chance to have a very fresh new ministry with young new faces to take the mission of development of Haryana to the next level. And since it has a comfortable majority, I don't think it is going to face any problems. And we all know that rebellion in BJP is a word which we have not heard for the past maybe 2 decades. The last we heard was from Uma Bharati or Yedurappa. So in BJP, the Sangathan and the party is much bigger than individuals, and it will all be settled in an amicable manner. And the aspirations of key leaders like Anil Vij or others will also be kept in mind, and it will be a mix of experience as well as new faces.
Yes, Professor Shastri, that's a very important point that Amitabh Tiwari is making, that the BJP has recorded an increase not just in seats but also in vote share. How do you think the BJP is going to sort of work on its new cabinet? Because while 7 ministers have lost, there are also newer faces that have won. There are people from parts of the Jatland that have voted for the party, despite knowing that it is the Congress party that has a Jat leadership. How is the BJP going to be represented in its new cabinet this time?
Vasudha, I would fully agree with what all Amitabh ji said about the challenges of government formation. I would believe there would be three factors, and not necessarily in any order of preference, which will guide the party in deciding the cabinet or the ministry positions. Factor one would, of course, be the loyalty factor, which has always been an important factor for the BJP. People who the party trusts in terms of implementing its agenda and being the right face for the party to put forward. Second factor for me would be the representation factor, both in terms of caste and region. The party would want to do a very good balancing of the caste equation and also the regional equation, irrespective of where the BJP did better and where the BJP did not do very well. And factor number three would be which leaders would help in building and bridging the way forward. Because now there is a heightened expectation from the BJP in its third term in office. So, which ministers would be able to work in a manner that you build on the expectations and bridge the expectations and have a performance which would justify in important ways a third term for the government. So, the loyalty factor, the representation factor, and the capacity to build and bridge, I think, would be what would decide who would be the ministers in the government. And as Amitabh said, the fact that 7 ministers lost, the speaker lost, are factors which allows the Haryana decision to be taken literally on a clean slate, because you have an opportunity now to refurbish the whole ministry in the state.
Right. Amitabh Tiwari, what is going to be challenging for Omar Abdullah here? Because NC has come up as the predominant party in Kashmir, but he's insisting that he will be ensuring that the interests of people of Jammu will be completely taken care of. And this is part of the Union Territory where NC has not really performed that well. Tell us, how difficult is this tightrope walk for Omar Abdullah going to be?
I think the mandate is fairly polarized. And one of the biggest challenges for Omar Abdullah will be to ensure that Jammu, where the BJP has almost swept the Hindu-dominated seats, is a region which gets adequate representation and is heard of on the ministry. Because there has been a feeling amongst the people of Jammu that they have been left out of development for the past decades, because the chief minister of J&K has largely been from the Kashmir Valley. And there are also tremendous differences between the people of these two regions. So I think he has to play the role of a peacemaker here, and he has to ensure that both Jammu and Kashmir are adequately represented. They don't have many leaders because not many MLAs have won from the Jammu Hindu-dominated region. So they have this challenge, and they need to find faces who could act as a bridge between both these regions. And of course, emotive issues always play a role in Jammu and Kashmir. He understands that Article 370 was perhaps not the main driving force in the electoral voice of the people, and that is something which he would not want to touch and start on a wrong note with the BJP, because it is the Union Territory and he requires the help of the central government also for development of the region. But statehood is some issue, is an emotive issue again, which he would also want to pressurize the BJP by passing the resolution in his first cabinet, so that at least one of his key promises he has fulfilled, and then the ball is in the court of the BJP to fulfill that promise.
Yes, Professor Shastri, how central is statehood of J&K going to be in the next phase of governance for J&K? Because this is something the Prime Minister has also said that, yes, of course, this is going to come back. But this was central to the NC Congress campaign. But they also spoke a lot about not having police Raj. Do you see the power of the LG going down now that there is an elected assembly in place after 6 years? But we also have a new J&K Reorganization Act, which clearly makes the LG far more powerful than he was.
Vasudha, it can be very persuasively argued that the restoration of statehood was something that every political player in the Union Territory has been committed to. The BJP has said that we are committed to statehood. The Congress and the National Conference have taken that stand. So the commitment to statehood is something that cuts across party lines. And that's the reason possibly Omar Abdullah is making that as the principal pitch to begin with. And he started off by saying that he is confident that the Prime Minister would fulfill the promise that he made during the campaign, which the Home Minister made during the campaign. So the new Chief Minister, the Chief Minister designate is reaching out to the BJP, reaching out to the center and saying that let's work on this issue on which all of us agreed. Timing, of course, would be the key. Will it happen sooner or later is the question. Also, I think Omar Abdullah is very keen to build bridges with the Lieutenant Governor. He did mention that there was no communication channel for long between the Raj Bhavan and his party, and he's hoping that that would open up and they would have a cordial relation with the Lieutenant Governor. And this is important, especially in the light of what we see happening in Delhi. There is a lot of apprehension that how would the relation with the Lieutenant Governor go. But Omar Abdullah seems to have taken the first step and said that we want no confrontation, we are for coordination, and we are for fulfilling the aspirations of the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
Right. Mr. Tiwari, do you see any change in the Congress's strategy when it comes to Haryana? Are they really would they be looking at a relook of this pro-Huda strategy that they've had in Haryana for the last 10 years? And how fortified is the BJP strategy of focusing completely on non-Jat consolidation? Because that is something that has really worked for the party even this time.
No, I think the results could portend the end of Jat politics in the state. So we could see Congress going back to a more inclusive, more accommodative and more expansive social coalition. So it would try to build or rebuild its earlier coalition because if you recall, INLD was the preferable Jat party and Congress was the preferable party of upper caste, OBCs, SCs and minorities. So it would, I think there could be some leadership changes. There could be drastic changes because Rahul Gandhi does not seem to be also happy with the result. And this reliance only on one caste or community in the modern world of politics is fairly difficult. And that also would, in a way, pressurize BJP also to shed its non-Jat consolidation politics. So we could see a more expansive, a more accommodative and a more I would say it has also become fairly polarized in the last 10 years. So this strategy of the Congress party, if it moves away from Jats, will also be beneficial for the societal harmony in the state, which has become fairly polarized in terms of Jats and non-Jats.
Right. Thank you so much, Amitabh Tiwari and Professor Shastri for joining us on this broadcast. Clearly, there are political and electoral consequences of both victories and defeats in states, but it is the focus now is on government formation both in J&K and Haryana. In fact, important meetings are underway. The BJP will also be ensuring that the swearing in of the new Chief Minister Nayab Singh Saini will be taking place, but that's expected after Dussehra. And in NC, there's of course an important meeting of the legislature to decide to support Omar Abdullah as the Chief Minister of J&K.